We're going to go in with the hot cross bun section. You don't always have to do a middle part, you could just brush all this forward and out of the way. So just come in here, use the end of your comb, and we're just going to come to just behind the ears here. And we're just going to, instead of trying to twist it, because you won't be able to twist it at this point, will you? Just use your clip to hold it out of the way. And exactly the same on the other side. So what we're looking to do with a short graduation haircut is to get that wedge where it comes in tight at the neck and then longer through the top. Same again on the sides. We'll do it step by step today, so you'll all go away and create your basic short graduation. We'll all then come back together. We'll do the fringe, you'll go off and do that. Then we'll go around the ears and do the freehand shaping as well. Okay? So it's going to be a step by step today. We're going to work as a team right the way through. We're going to come down the middle at the back here. And you want quite small sections so you can get it all in your hand. And as I just bring that away, we're going the opposite way just at the back of the neck here. Obviously your tuition heads don't have them, but you want a nice small section. You just use your comb just to bring that up. We want a nice straight line, and we want these sections even. And if you just see, I've just put my my clip in horizontally just to hold that out of the way. And the same again on this side. As the hair starts to get shorter, what you might do is you might come in the same as we did with our uniform layer, where you started on that panel through the middle. Okay? So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to take our middle section. I don't know if you guys want to come up and over so you can see, because as I move round, I'm probably going to get in the way of what I'm cutting. Okay? So you need to come up and round, just so you can peer over my shoulder that way. So Georgia can still see. So our first section is this middle section, okay? We're going to come in, this is going to be combed out away from the head at a 90-degree angle. So same as our uniform layer, but our fingers are going to be tilted. So you can see, I'm just pointing back at my nose, okay? So just think like you've got to point back at yourself to be able to cut that line in. You're then going to cut down. Don't twist your fingers at this point, because as soon as you do that, you lose the graduation, okay? Comb it down. Then, as always, following our guide, how do I get my next section?
Take it from the last one.
Take it from the last one and do next. Okay? It's up to you whether you find it easier to come in and go this way, or whether you want to come in this way. Okay? So part of my next section, part of my previous. Just a tiny bit overhanging there. And then again, Jordan, I'm going to have to come where you're standing if you go that side, because we move around. Come in, and your fingers out towards you again. Okay, just going to wet that back down. Remember, wetting the hair down, it's a lot easier to see your guide, okay? So wet it back down again. You can see where that's shorter in there. Part of that section, part of your previous. Georgia, if you want to come this side, just where I swap round. And my fingers are now pointing downwards, okay, into the nape of the neck. That's our section that we cut. Same again on this side. Round again. You see our guide in there? You see it through there? And point into the nape of the neck.
Sorry,
Can everyone see? Nape's here.
Right.
Okay, bottom of the neck there. And then again, working your way round the head and tilting in. Okay? Just make sure you've caught all of that hair in each section. Remember, we're always going to cross-check our work as well. So I'm going to come, sorry Georgia, just a step in front of you again. Just going to come over this side again, just to ensure that I've caught all of that. And then just to cross-check your work, horizontally out towards you in the middle, and then work your way round to each side. And same as any of your cuts, just use your fingers as a guide to pull that out towards you. Okay? What we're going to be doing is we're going to be working up to about where this bend is on the head, where it starts to bend round. That's where we're going to work up to for our graduation. Work in nice, small, neat sections. It makes it so much easier to follow your guide. So it's very much the same sectioning technique that we used for our uniform layer. I'm just going to wet that down. It makes it a bit easier to work with. And start looking at the shape that you're creating as you're cutting it. And remember, you don't always have to come in this way. You can turn your comb around and come in the other way as well. So you can see our guide from on the underneath there, can't we? All we're doing is we're following that out, but we're still tilting our fingers. So what you're imagining is a wedge at the back of the neck there. Okay, so we're imagining this sort of shape through here, and then it's going to come up and around with our uniform layer. So next section. Again, pointing down to the nape of the neck. Again, this is individually up to you. I tend to do one side pointing up and out to myself, one side coming down, just because that's what I find easiest. You might find it easiest to work with your fingers pointing up right the way round. Okay? So just work with what you find is the easiest thing for you today. And you can see the guide just underneath there, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that?
What do we do if we pull too much and we lose the guide?
Then you just make your section a little bit smaller, rework it, work backwards, find your guide, then work forward again.
Right.
Okay? Normally if you can't find your guide, it's that you've missed it, you haven't quite caught it, or you've gone past it and you're cutting in a new guide. So just make sure you're working the same point right the way through. Probably means that your section's a little bit too large. And can you see that's now starting to tuck in? We haven't got that bulk at the back like we did with our uniform layer. And then you're just going to work right the way around to the other side again. So you can see that my fingers change position from one side over to the other. So I've always got that shorter bit on the underneath. Try to always remember it's shorter on the underneath, going longer to the top, so you don't switch your angles. Feel with your fingers, see if you're happy with that length. Then cross check. If you cross check and you've got a little bit that's longer, that's your time where you just take that off, okay? Come around to the sides. Just work your way right the way round. Okay, remember to stand directly parallel to what you're doing. Again, next section, nice and neat. So you can see where you're working to. Once you understand the cut, it will make it easier for you to go in and on shorter hair not have the sections put in straight away. So we should be getting longer at this point now. Okay. So there's my guide on the underneath. Can we all see the guide in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just following that up.
How far do we go up? 45 degrees.
Remember I said just to where it starts to bend. So this is going to be our section where we then actually start to do our uniform layer through this top part.
Okay.
Okay?
So towards like the crown area.
Yeah. Follow your guide that's underneath. Remember to check each section, otherwise it might be that you get right to the top and you realise you haven't followed your guide right from the bottom.
Then what would you do?
Then you'd go right to the bottom again, find your guide and work that up. So again, just coming to the other side. I want you to have a play today, see what you find is most comfortable, how you find it comfortable to work, and positioning of your hands. It takes a little while just to get used to it. Anyone got any questions? No? So cross-check. Come in at several different points, just bring that out towards you. And this is one of the cuts that you get assessed against for your criteria for your barbering, okay? So as Jordan said, where do we start going to our uniform?